Sorry, Sheriff. Earl, you may have to be over here because.
All right, guys. Hopefully you can see us now. I have no idea
That's my bad. No one
what
accepts
happened.
responsibility for that. No one forgot he has gremlins and hands Sam a necklace.
So we've got a couple of things to go over tonight, amongst i.e. the stupidity that is us running technology, because we can't blame Mercury anymore.
No, but we can blame Rowan's gremlins.
So let me make sure that we're on the Coven page first. Look, we're online, guys. Look.
No, what happened? As soon as I pulled my necklace off, it was like, boom, works. Yeah. Rowan has gremlins. Rowan kills technology.
Oh,
Rowan's
goodness.
necklace was on the computer. The computer said,
no. That was you. It was your fault. I blame you.
It was me.
All right.
It was me.
So, merry meet, everyone. I see we've got a couple of new people up here. So, what we normally do is we kind of are very in how we do our Friday Night Live broadcasts. Typically, they're very free form. And we provide you with the entertainment that only Coven Le Corbeau Noir can provide.
Entertainment now.
That's what we do. And as it is Friday
entertainment
night,
good. Naps are bad.
Merry meet.
Merry meet.
So what we're going to do this evening is talk about some of the recaps from Pagan Pride up in Raleigh, which was a busy, super busy weekend. But more importantly, some of our Socialist Hellas Dead guys, which are behind me in this. Because everything's kind of backwards in my webcam, so bear with me. I gotta point the right direction. It's in this.
I said that basket right there. Right.
Hi, creepy guy in the red shirt behind me.
He's standing beside the basket.
So we'll talk about the dead guys in the basket here shortly, and trust me, they would like to be seen because they found out that we're going to talk about them, so they would like to be noticed.
I believe your husband would like to get your attention. I believe he's saying, I would like to take a shower and he'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes.
All right, go get scrubbly doubly. Get huggably, rapably
Apparently,
fresh.
I now speak will.
You're very good.
I have been around them well enough now that I speak Lin well.
Yes.
This is good. This is we are progressing. This is progress.
I know, yeah, you kind of have to get used to the way of the direction. It's like, you know, when those flying games, up is down, down is up, left is actually right, right is actually left.
When they actually put the actual axes
everything's
the way that
kind
it is
of all
plane.
backwards. So if you guys can see us, check it. Just give us a comment, give us a shout. So first and foremost, we kind of want to just throw a couple of shout outs. First to, of course, Central North Carolina's Pagan Pride organization. They threw a phenomenal event, and while there was a couple of snafus with the new location, I feel all in all they did handle it very well. And I think next year, knowing some of the things that they had to overcome this year, they'll be even more prepared to handle those situations. I think the fairground was much more accommodating to a lot more vendors and space. I liked the fact that they had the ritual area towards the speakers, and I like the fact that they had the workshops in a more quieter location so you could actually hear the teacher.
Particularly, you're talking about that at the fairgrounds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was going to say, in this job, because they did what they had to do with the space they had provided. But it was nice because a lot of the workshops were very isolated. Fairgrounds would lead for you because
wait, there it goes again. Okay, we're good. Okay, so
workshops. I like that the fairgrounds, how at least particularly there was one more shop area that was off, down, and kind of almost to a ravine to itself. And plus, there was already almost makeshift seating there because of the way that they designed it. Because they designed it in some respects almost like an amphitheater, like an outdoor amphitheater. Which again, this is not a slight against this year's PPE at all. Again, because they lost their space and they had to work with a different space, they actually did a very admirable job of making the workshops to the side, way away from the ritual, so that people could actually hear the workshops and throw a cat. So kudos to Central North Carolina PPD. Your cat's coming to the food cat. Central.
No. She's coming for a lap.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah.
Kudos to them for working with the space that they have, actually managing to maximize their space.
Very the fact that okay, hold on. We got a couple of people here. Let's see. Oh yeah. Sorry guys, there is a lag when it comes. We've got the laptop up this time, so and there is a reason why I have Lightstream up, and there is a very good reason because we're trying out a couple of features with Lightstream. Not to mention we're having some issues with it's not Time Warner now, it's Spectrum. Whatever. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but at least admittedly it's not CenturyLink. So
yeah. So
not that that's much.
Yeah. So we've got some lag this evening. You're going to see about a 10-second delay. So if it takes a minute or two for us to respond to you, bear with us. We see you. We know you're there. I promise. Let's see. Oh, hey, Austin. Let's see. Kat's here with us. Oh, LV, you brought Seraphine out. Yeah, I know she's tickled pink.
LV. So down at the bottom right-hand corner of the comment section, you should see a little icon. Right now, it'll probably come up as the Coven logo. If you click that icon, it should allow you to choose between your profiles. So choose between either the Coven, actually posting as the Coven, the group page, the public page rather, or posting as yourself to answer your question, I believe.
Oh, and Hazel, she is drawing shoebill stork griffins, but she is listening.
Yes.
Oh, she also drew a picture of a coyote trying to eat popcorn, and it was the funniest thing. Apparently, her group of Socialist dead guys has had a wanting of caramel drizzled popcorn, and apparently, her whites are very not so much clean eaters, and it's very much so not dainty when it comes to the eatings of popcorn. And then of course one of them was very much so, here, I want this, and she's like, well, they don't have it, but I can drizzle it on there for you. And he's like, well, then that you might as well give me nothing, because that's not what I wanted. So we'll explain whites and land spirits then, I promise you guys. Like I said, we're trying out some new features on this new streaming system. If you get the chance to, if you guys ever want to do live stuff from your computer, because some people have access to live from Facebook on their computers, some people don't. I don't know. Facebook's weird. Whatever. But if you check out Go Lightstream, it is a phenomenal system. It is free. You can download it for your computer. If you have Google Chrome, there is an app for you as well that enables a couple of things for you to do, such as screen sharing, which we will be doing this evening. Hazel, Clovis tries so hard to eat popcorn like the dignified coyote he is, but nope, crunch, 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 crunch. Yes, that was the picture she drew yesterday, and it was so funny. She's an amazing drawer, guys. Some of the pictures she draws is so funny too. But Go Livestream is super amazing. It allows us to be able to do some of the things we did today. The music was a little off. I'm going to try to come up with some audio something or others to make that work a little better, because that was all types of gibberish. I was trying to play Totem since we were going to be talking about dead guys tonight, because our dudes were back here. I had to replay it like 3 times. Ron and I would be jamming out to it, and the guys behind us, and we get halfway through the song, and our dead guys be like, wait, you're repeating it?
Why?
Can we finish the song, please?
And wonder if there's the external mic will pick it up, because I can always just throw it on the old iPhone.
Yeah, we might have to turn the external mic on for that, but we're still playing with the new system.
About the mic, mic on your.
The new system, new things to learn, so we're still picking up on its tweaks, as you can see by the 10-minute delay of the streaming tonight, because so let's see. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so PPD. The other thing I liked too was how they had the vendor set up. Normally, if you guys have,
what's up?
Normally, how they have the event set up for PPD at the fairgrounds is it was on a huge hill, and you needed to wear comfy shoes because, oh bejesus. you're trekking up and down hills, all over rocks, all over God's green mud ball to get to whatever class vendor you needed to go to, or whatever the case may be.
And several routes.
Yeah, God.
Please stand by. Technical difficulties. Please stand by. So yeah, you have to walk over rocks.
Oh no.
Who knows?
Yeah, so you have to pray that you don't or have bad what's the word I'm looking for?
Stub toe blisters, cut.
You have good balance. You do not have the grace of a newborn giraffe on stilts, okay? So the great thing about we're gonna freeze a little bit. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me do one thing. Oh, I know my husband's Wi-Fi is probably on too, which is like a killer for our internet for some reason. So the other thing I liked about the new fairgrounds over the state fairgrounds is the fact that they have the vendors set up in a way. They're kind of mixed in with the information booths, but it left walkways. So it was like we were next to each other, but there were walkways in between, and it was nice to have them to set up the way they were. It wasn't spread out sporadically, and you had to figure everything out. I mean, yeah, it was a little sporadic trying to figure out where everybody else, but it was workshops, vendors and information booths, information PPD itself, and then the raffle booth, and then it was food vendors on the side, and then you had the ritual area, and then the music area, so to speak.
I think because they had the open space, unlike the fairgrounds, which you got to deal with the trees, you got to deal with walking around trees. Because they have more open space, I think they plot out the vendor and the information booths in a much more logical grid-like fashion, which made, I mean, obviously we're human beings, we're used to driving on grid-like streets, so it made life more familiar.
Super well.
Made life a little bit through the vendors more logical. And that was nice because at least then you could walk around. You weren't, oh look, there's a vendor here. Oh, how did I miss this other vendor over here because they were locked in the corner that I didn't.
Yeah. So it was really nice being able to see the vendors, and some of the vendors that we know and love, like War Bunny, because he had 20.
I did nothing.
Yes.
I stopped.
Lexi, it's okay. That's my dog. Sorry.
War Bunny good. Naps are bad.
Yeah. So War Bunny, who not only had sharp and pointy, he had also soft and fluffy this year.
I didn't get a chance to look at War Bunny, so I didn't even see his soft and fluffy. What did he have?
He had little soft and fluffies. They were sock kitties.
Oh,
hold on.
Of multiple sizes.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to really leave the booth much. So
yes.
I didn't know.
Yes, he had sock kitties.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to steal the one sock kitty for my one dude. Look, guys. They're little sock kitties.
I totally didn't see that at all.
So I got one for my sister for her white, and then my sister got me this one for my white. And then I got Snooze one for just her helping us. She was like, oh, I want one, but I really don't. Money and stuff and all of the shiny
money, stuff, and things.
So I got Hazel one for her stuff. You know, just they were cute. Each one is sold with a heart, guys. Oh. How freaking cute is that?
Oh.
There was a snack one. There was one with cars on it. One had a 12-sided die.
Yeah.
Okay?
Decadahedron.
Yes! Decadahedron cat.
Decadahedron. Love the, oh, what was it that Fry said that one time? Decadolicious.
Yeah, Decadolicious. So, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. There was some cool vendors. Mad props to the random live feed bombings. To Shasta's Treasures, Wizard's Wands. I did Hammer Soul. I did Starlight Mead.
Yep.
I think I did Mantis Minerals. I did a couple of groups on Sunday, yeah, because I did the opening ritual. Oh, and I did Triangle Pagan Alliance with Mike. Mike was doing readings on. He was just walking my direction. I'm like, and there's Mike. And Mike. So, all over the place. There was coffee. I had creamer. We were good to go.
Caffeine.
Good.
She needed tea for her.
Oh. So it was good. And then I will say the camping was fun. Even with limited it worked out. I mean, we had fun. We even without a fire pit, we made it work. I made bottles for and lanterns in a box.
Fire, sort of.
It was reflective.
It was.
It was ambience.
It was there.
I was making jokes.
Like, I can't respond to that.
I was making jokes the whole time. I was sitting in my kick-out chair, and I was like, "Hey guys, the fire needs stoked. Someone kick it. It needs a log thrown on. Oh, the smoke's in my eyes." Like, I was making smart-ass comments the whole time. It was great. Lady A did phenomenal with the food. Hazel and Luna Fee helped cook the weekend, and they totally kicked ass and stepped up and helped. And so did LV. They totally kicked ass and helped wherever help was needed.
They kicked ass and chewed bubblegum. Yes,
all of that. And Kat totally helped wherever we needed as well. She came down for the weekend, guys. Drove hundreds of miles to come down for this event to celebrate with us. So kudos to her. Tapes were our smoke, yes. Let's see what else. Also, kudos to big kudos to Hazel, because she showed up, guys, at 1 o'clock, just strolled straight up to our booth and was like, "All right, bitches, I'm here. What are we doing?" And I'm like, "Another person with breath. Come here, let me show you what to do." Yeah, the vapes were totally our smoke, LV. You were totally correct. But Hazel,
like
the Hazel totally stepped up, and we just adopted her. And yeah, we know, Rach, we keep freezing. It's the light stream system we're using to do our live. Unfortunately, it's going to. Linwell, turn your Wi-Fi off.
Gotcha. On it.
The other thing we found that we want to kind of give a shout out to is Snooze And Miles as a shout out because we kind of adopted their booth all weekend. They brought all of their dead guys to Ritual. We also put a basket in front of their booth all weekend and had people who came to our information booth grab offerings.
Yeah.
We collect all year. We really need site 2020.
Not have to speak at this. Reader's Digest. Sorry, I was in a Megadeth mood. It was fun. Sweating bullets.
Okay, so we had all of these offerings, little wood pieces, seashells, painted seashells, petals. That's ended up being all across gems. And we adopted him as well and just like took handfuls of peanuts, which were his favorite treat, over to him. Like, and I mean like handfuls.
And whatever peanuts to get into the parrot and I bought a few too many peanuts for the ritual.
There's still some over there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised in the slightest bit.
But it worked out really, really great because those items ended up people who weren't able to attend the ritual, which we'll talk about ritual in a minute, were able to grab those items, infuse their energy into what they're thankful for. And we were like, oh, and go over to Portable Weirdness and drop off your stuff. And they were like, okay. Because we had our dead guys all out of the booth and everybody wanted to come buy our dead guys. And we're like, oh, no. They're not for sale. They're our family. They're not for adoption. But they have stuff for adoption.
Yeah.
By the way, since you're going there, take this and then go. And they're like, okay. And then they would go down there and get stuff. So it worked out. So kudos to Miles' Snooze with dealing with us in our chaos. You know you love us. So on that note, Ritual was super awesome. We felt like we had a really good turnout for it being like first thing Saturday morning. It was a mad dash to get everything set up and ready to go. But, I mean, we had a lot of participation. We actually had one of our older members there that ended up moving away.
Oh, yeah. I about that.
The ritual
nice
table.
Again,
Nene was awesome. Yeah. The ritual table was awesome, LV. There was so much energy, and if you looked at it, all of the whites were just there, and their spirits were just it was awesome. And having the kids come up and helping cast circle with the bubbles, and then them keeping the bubbles, and the parents just glaring at me as if they could keep it was even better.
Parents like, why did you give my child bubbles?
It's pagan event. They need bubbles. Come on.
Good. Naps are bad.
But just having everybody continually being involved, chanting, hand holding, the offerings, the inclusion in the circle, having, I only wanted the people to help me cast circle to repeat after me. Everybody repeated after me to cast circle, which was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. We kept the quarters in a way that we explained it because we as a coven, per Rowan's super nifty investigative board researchings, discovered that we
there we go.
Through some research, we change our elements. Oh, I guess these.
That's okay. Basically, it was an article that I read where an author had made an argument that some of the traditional, particularly Order of the Golden Dawn, placings of the ritual quarters, the elements, may have been incorrect based off of the area from which they were. And the article basically argued that really air should be in the north because air, that's where the cold winds usually came from. And that the earth should actually be in the west, or excuse me, the east, because that's where, if you look at Wales, even though you've got some water there, the majority of the earth is to the west. Particularly, you've got the tundra of Europe, and you've got all of Asia to the west. So you got thousands of miles of dirt to the west of them. Excuse me, to the east. I will get it right eventually. Whereas to the west of them, they would always put the water in the west because the seas were to the west of them. And of course, as you go further south.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So when I read this article, I was like, this makes a lot of sense. Also, and this is something I didn't get a chance to explain, and we didn't get a chance to explain in the ritual, but it leads to a duality where you have male, female. So there's an equality as you go around the circle. So in our case, I was looking at this and I was like, you know what? As fun as that is, the simple reality is the Atlantic Ocean of us, and the continent is to the west of the North American continent is to the west of us. So it would make more sense to have air in the north, fire in the south, water to the east, and earth to the west, regardless of where you are on the eastern seaboard. Now, I know some people are like, oh, but I've got a lake beside me, or I got a pond beside me to my west. That's nice. But about 40 miles to the east of you is the beginning of the ocean, and there's 1,500 miles of blue after that. So as fun as that pond is, that blue kind of trumps it. That's a bigger pond. So we did that.
Big thing.
Yeah, we did that, and when we did it for the first ritual, we did it for Midsummer Ritual. We did it for Litha in 2015, and I found that it just worked out very, very well.
It was actually surprising because we got more response out of the elemental calls than I think any of the other rituals.
Right. It was like the elements were like, you finally got it freaking right. It's about bloody time.
Yeah.
So ever since then, there's kind of been this thing where we call the quarters to make it work, and it just seems to work. So, you know, we tried to explain that for PBD. I hope folks got it. If they didn't, I don't really know how to respond to that.
We get the video. We will post it up for everybody to view because it was phenomenal. Though I really wish we would have gotten Patrick's home slide in there to Earth because that was just phenomenal.
Yeah, because we started calling real quick, so he was like, and then he had the camera up. He's like, I must film this.
Yes, he did a phenomenal job.
But Patrick always does.
He does. Patrick is one of the spouses to our members, and he has undertaken graciously recording pictures for some of our events, and he did a phenomenal job with our Mayfair event and doing the maypole, and I'll be posting that video soon for you guys. I'm going to post it on YouTube, and yes, guys, we will have officially a YouTube channel.
Well, what? We want? Oh,
yes.
That's right. Really?
Yes. We have one, but we will have videos attached to it.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So once we have that, our video will be posted on there for you guys to view because it was really awesome, and I want those who were not able to be there to be able to share on that energy level as well. Yeah. So on that note, because our ritual was about whites, let's talk about whites. So I'm going to share a sheen with you guys. So for those who are not familiar with Snooze, she has a phenomenal blog. It is Hedgehog Stole My Beer. Let me explain Snooze to you guys. So, Rowan, how would you explain Snooze? Because I just think she's just Snooze. That's the only definition I got.
I think the best way I could describe it is take someone who has a lot of knowledge and put them in a package that wants to that take someone with a lot of knowledge and put them into the body of a squirrel and then give them some fireball. And I think that might start to begin to explain snooze. Only because she's got a lot of knowledge and she's very passionate about what she talks about and her knowledge. And she also, with enough fireball, one tends to have zero inhibitions and doesn't care if it tells you, "Hey, you're fucking wall."
Yeah.
So, and that's news. Like, she has no problems telling you you're not, you're sorry, you're.
Yeah, and as LV has commented, snooze takes zero
shit. So, and that's why, and that's why I say, you know.
Yes.
Technical difficulties.
Okay, there we go.
Yes. Description. There we go.
Yeah. That is spot on. And her companion Miles is okay. So let's explain Miles. Poor Miles. Okay, we to place Miles. uber special. Hey guys.
All right. I think we are possibly back up.
Okay. Angry, mean, naggity nag nag. My thoughts exactly, Sai. I'm going to shrink this down a little bit here. Put us back in the center. Maybe that'll help it be less angry. All right.
In the immortal words of Steve Irwin, he's angry. He's angry.
Real.
Oh, ain't he just a little cutie? Oh, he's just a little angry.
All right.
Spitting cobras. Oh, ain't he just angry? Yes, he's just
All right. I think we might actually be up again.
All right. Hopefully. There we go. I think you guys can see us now. Alrighty. So on that note, let's talk about some dead guys here. Yeah. Okay. So.
By the way, Miles, awesome. Yes. Preston.
Miles. So we were trying to figure out who Miles reminded us of, and then it was an epiphany. A lightning struck my brain, and an epiphany. An epiphany.
So there I was in Sri Lanka, formerly is Sri Lanka, and Ozzy wanted 1,000 brown M&Ms in a brandy glass, or he wouldn't go on stage that night. So Keith pops in, says there's a sweet shop down the road. So we go, and sure enough, it's there. Anyway, that's Miles. If you recognize that quote, that is Miles, and Miles is awesome, and he comes from his mother's womb, and that is absolutely correct, LB. And for that, we love Miles.
Yes, Miles is the man with a plan, and he is amazing. Miles also has a couple of books. So if you have the chance to check out Portable Weirdness, they do have a store. I highly recommend it because they do have some goodies, and I think his books are available online as well. So let's talk about some dead guys. So first and foremost, in order to talk about dead guys, we kind of need you to do some research on some dead guys here. So let's see. So I'm going to pass this to Rowan here. So first and foremost, I have to explain to you a little bit about whites here. So Hazel, you already know. LV, you've got the gist of it. Lunacy, if you check us out later, you know. So land whites, whatever you want to call them, are usually of a animal nature in most cases. Most, not all. However, if you do not know what they are, we are going to check out Snooze's amazing blog right now. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to check it out. All right, so we're going to flip over to scenes here. So I'll post the blog later. But we'll talk about our dead guys. How about that?
Yeah.
So our dead guys are pretty cool.
Yep.
Oh, Sales, have it printed.
Yes.
All right. So we'll talk about our dead guys since the blog's not pulling up. So that was a fail. I'll have to play with it later. Nah. Oh well. So Snooze has this wonderful blog, and it's called Working with Land Whites 101. So it's like I said, if you type in Hedgehog Stole My Beer, type in Whites, WIGHTS, you should be able to pull up that specific blog. It goes over a little bit about whites and some of their information pertaining them. And also it gives you some information pertaining to some reading material, which is great if you are new to whites and are unsure on some of the information pertaining to them. So first things first is let's go over whites themselves. So I'm going to quote her article here.
Right.
So here's the basic text of Class I Do, a non-totemic land spirits. It has 3 parts, taking UPG, which is unverifiable personal gnosis, which is impressions from a randomly chosen physical object that a spirit is using as sort of an interface point that I refer to as an anchor. Noting observed physical characteristics and thinking about why a person would interact with whites in the first place. It is not specific to any doctrine, tradition, or other belief system. All that's required and a willingness to do some objective thinking and homework about your UPGs, which is, once again, unverifiable personal gnosis. If you use it, just either link it back here or post author credit and send me feedback. It's an ongoing study. She likes to keep track of them, okay? So, let's talk about our whites here. So, I have a basket full. This entire basket is full of dead guys. I know. They're loud. Trust me. Bless you. So, I'll start with my first white that I ever acquired, and you guys will love him. He is fluffy. And he loves attention. This is Sherman, and everybody in the Coven knows Sherman. Sherman is a white Arctic fox. He loves to be swished. So you'll notice he has a chain because I often have to hook him to my butt because he wants to be swished in public. But for the most part, he is super chill. And when I mean super chill, he yells at everybody else for not being chill enough. For example, at our retreat, he likes to sit in a tree. Seraphine I had just acquired, which is a gray fox, less than a year old, and he was sitting in the tree as Seraphine is bebopping all over around the fire, and he's like, dude, you are doing this whole thing wrong. Paw hanging off of a tree. Imagine a little fox just curled up in a ball, tail dripping over, paw hanging off of it. That is Sherman. That's all he does around this house. Doesn't do a damn thing. Wants food, he'll get your attention. Other than that, nothing. Go to Pagan Pride Day, go to an event, go to a ritual. Where's he want to be? Swishing. That is Sherman. All right. I'll talk about number 2, and this is Snooze's baby. I adopted her from Snooze, and she is by far, like, my baby. She has her own shelf, her own staff. Like, it's not my staff. I got it from O'Davis Trade last year at Starlight Mead, and it's not my staff. It's Brigitte's staff. This is Brigitte. She is a white-tailed doe. Snooze painted her because this is what Brigitte wanted. She's calm. She's very very familial. She's a very relaxing presence. Very just mellow, very familial. She loves a peaceful environment. So whenever we have new whites, usually Sherman and Brigitte kind of tag team and kind of bring them in and kind of she takes them under her paw, her hoof, and just kind of guides them along. She's my go-to for a lot of stuff. What's up?
Oh, you're good. Sorry.
Don't
mind me.
Oh.
Keep going. Rowan is trying to link the actual link to this specific thing for everyone else.
The link is, if you want.
No, I'll find it. That way.
Right there. Because the live's still going.
That's all I need to know.
So Brigitte is she's super sweet, and she kind of comes and goes. She does her own thing. She doesn't stay unless she's needed. She's been needed a lot. There's a lot going on in this house. So she's pretty chill for the most part, though. She likes head scratches. She loves, let's see, what did she really like recently? I got a Himalayan salt lamp. It doesn't get turned on. She just likes to lick it.
Oh,
that is her thing. She loves her salt lamp.
Party foul.
Don't want anything else in this house, but she wants her salt lamp. So that is Brigitte.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. On to the next one. So those are the first two I acquired. The next one that I got is Seraphine, and she's no longer mine. LV, one of my members, actually adopted her, and I'm in the process of processing her bones, and I'm getting ready to cure her tail and get that going. But I'll show you her bones, which will make Seraphine super, super happy. So this is her body. I am in the process of, this is in acetone at the moment, so I am getting the fat off of it. And then these are this is her feet. These are being bleached. Look how white they are, guys. They're so pretty. They're coming out great. And then this is her poor skull. It's a 3D puzzle of chaos.
That card had a number on her.
Yeah, it really wrecked her, guys. But it's so the hydroxyl peroxide's doing great. So Seraphine is a gray fox, a hit roadkill in February or March, down around the corner from my house. Ironically enough, didn't know we did a bunch of research. I thought she was a red tail because she just had so much red in her. Come to research and identification, she's actually a gray fox, because red tails active tails, whereas gray fox have a black streak that runs down their back and have black tipped tails to them. Also, gray foxes are the only breed of fox in our area that actually are tree dwellers. They optionally choose to dwell and reside in trees if they don't want to build a den,
Right.
which is really, really cool. So did a bunch of research on her. She is at the latest, she is from Falls Litter last year. So she was really young. Her hips aren't even fused. The crests on her forehead aren't even. I mean, she's young. She was gorgeous though when I picked her up. I have her tail in the freezer to process. But she's not really big. But she is super high maintenance hyper. Poor LV.
Coffee I'm gonna have to drink.
Yeah. Poor LV got her hands. She picked her up and she mellowed out. And we're like, oh wait. When she was at the house before, I gave her to LV because she fused to a piece of ruby and fuchsite. And when I picked her up and I finally got out of her, I'm like, look, you don't want to be attached to your body when I process you. So you got two things. You can either stay attached to your body and deal with what I'm going to do with you because this is what you would like me to do, or you can attach to something else and not have to deal with the physical ramifications of what I'm going to do with you and deal with that process all over again. And she's like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm like, okay, so pick a stone. What do you want? And I pulled the square out. She's like, color. Like a kid. She's like, ooh. So she attached to that.
Right.
Yeah. So, and LV can attest to that. Yes. So she's just going to be tickled pink to have all of her items back to her. Her feet and her skull will be done by the weekend. Her body should be done. Actually, her body should be done by the weekend too. Her tail's just going to take about a week or two to do. So, because I want to make sure I give the skin enough time to salt and borax cure before I sew it back up and attach ties to it. Very jealous of Lady. She's a mama's girl. She pushes away from
Lady, in case anyone was curious, Lady is LV's dog. So Seraphine's a handful. Seraphine is very much so. I was not intending to get a white, especially after all the anxiety and the panic and stuff that I've been dealing with. And then I was just like, hey, you feeling better? Here's a white. And I'm like, okay. I have no idea what the process is. What do I do? Snooze, help me. And then I'm like, Hazel, help. Please help me. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. And then I acquired 4 more. Lunafi has one of them, which his name is after, as we've discovered. He is a 1-year-old coyote. He doesn't have teeth. He doesn't have his lower mandible. So he is just the top skull. I am going to be getting him back shortly to, I have him. I've got to process his skull and make him stronger. Sorry, he's back, guys. If you can only see what's behind me, guys, I still have boxes from PPD in my living room. So with his skull, now that I have his skull and everything ready to go, and I have the glue taken care of to get him processed, I'm going to be taking his skull and strengthening it to make it a little bit more solidified. But after, as a 1-year-old coyote, he's really, really sweet, but very submissive and very shy. He's very much so a pushover, but he's coming into his own a little bit. But he's super sweet. For a coyote, it's very rare to come across that. Normally, they're very sarcastic assholes, not very submissive. Yeah. Seraphine's a handful. And then I came across. Okay, so we'll start from
I'll save Spike for last because Spike's already screaming. So I'll start with Marvin because he's the smallest. So this is Marvin. Hazel determined his name when she picked him up. Marvin is another fox.
Ooh, actually, let me get that. I would like to Marvin.
So Marvin is this cool little guy. I got him the same time as after, and then I got 2 more deer. And he's really, really cool. He's a whole fox skull. Marvin is the coolest little dude. I actually got him a stone, and LV gave me a tail for him. It's not his tail, but it's a fluffy tail, so he feels better. So his life is complete because he has fluff. But this is Marvin. Really haven't got much of his personality, except he's a loner. He kind of just does his own thing. I get from him he's a little bit of the opposite of Sherman. He's not really on the same page, but nowhere near the energy level of Seraphine. Yeah. Nowhere near. He's mature. He's a mature fox. He's an adult fox. Yeah, it's Marv. I got him some pretty shiny stuff though, and I think I figured out what colors he wants on him as far as paint or something. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do it, but he's been giving me a couple of flashies. Here's Marv, because you wanted to check him out. And then Buttons. So over the weekend at Pagan Pride, I met one of my friends who traded me my geode for something. And Buttons got something he wanted. Now Buttons is another deer. And he is, and you'll know why he's called Buttons. Buttons doesn't have antlers. Buttons has buttons. And his name is Buttons. But Buttons is another male deer, and he's super sweet. He's just a kid. He loves attention and head scratches. He likes cranberries and chocolate. I know. Chocolate. But Buttons is upset because he doesn't have antlers. However, we did one better for him, and we got him deer ears. So he's pretty content. And when he has his deer ears on, he just says, na 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 na. Boo boo. Bite me. So he's pretty happy.
Exactly. Question regarding Marvin.
Silver. I feel sad for him. Hi, Hazel. Silver. Yeah, Silver is on there for him. I think, let me see I picked up a stone for him that he really, really liked, and it was, is it in this bag? Yeah, it's in this bag. No, it's not that one. It's this one, and it's called Septarian, and it's this really pretty. And this is a really shitty webcam, guys, so just deal with me. It's this really pretty stone. It's like cream colored, and it's got like green and brown, and it's almost like I don't really know how to explain it. Like it's like lightning. It's like lightning and charred wood.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be the way to explain it, but that when I picked it up, I don't think anybody in America comes close to know. But he does want some silver. And I did pick him some silver chain up and some, I got some different colored wire for all of them, because once you meet Spike, you'll understand why I had to get different colored wire. Oh, Spike. But Marvin is really, really sweet. I think I need to work with him a little bit more, because I feel like there's something else I'm missing for him. But when I was over at Snooze's booth, I picked up this stone, and he wanted this stone. So there was a reason, and I think this is and it fits perfectly, like under his mandible. Like if I were to sit him on top of it, it would be the perfect height to prop him up. So he wants this. So I just haven't figured out if it's the perfect pocket size too. So I'm thinking this is what he wants to anchor with too. Hey Rowan, can you post a link for the whites on the group page? It's not clickable or able to be copied from here. Okay. Yeah. We'll post it for you guys. In fact, what we'll do is we can we'll post the public page too. Yeah, we'll post it on the public page too, because I also want to post the House Fordians for you guys too, because that's another really cool topic for you guys too, which is on the same guidelines a little bit of the House Whites, but they're a little different. They kind of go in the Utu a little bit, which is almost like voodoo kind of. Adam at the booth next to us, PPD, had one of those heart shaped. Yeah, that's the same stone. Here, I'll show you the other side a little bit now that you guys, since I see it's not that shitty in the camera.
Actually, that's a good point, Carrie. We, I think some of the feathers we pulled off the roosters actually would be that color.
Yeah, that would be really, actually, he's like, chicken feathers?
Yeah, chicken, well, considering some of your cousins, caught quite a few of my chickens this year. Yeah, a green and black feather headdress. I think some of the ones that we culled this year actually had green and black feathers. Now that I think about it, and actually, I think the majority of those feathers are still at the house. I bagged up some of them, but the majority of those feathers are at the house.
I also got...
That's a good question, Emily. I don't know. Is that a dragon's egg or something close to that name? That stone?
That is what's called septarian.
Septarian. Well, serpent.
Yeah.
Septarian. It could be dragon's egg. Raven's egg. Blood of a hen. A little blood, yes.
And then we'll share Portable Weirdnesses link to their page too for you guys. Let's see, what else did I get for? These are for Bob, or not for Bob, for all of the shiny stones that I will show you. Then are not. Oh, this is for Marvin too. This is specifically the cat that my sister got me. So, like I said, I got one for Hazel. I got a striped orange one, but I got it for after. And my sister got me one because I gave the orange one to my sister, and then this gray one, and this is Marvin's. So that might be what you're picking the silver off of.
Well, not just that. And to your comment, Emily, it might be the nickname, honestly.
What?
Talking about stone, dragon's egg.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might well be another name for that particular stone. Unfortunately, that's a stone that I have not researched personally, so I just don't have any of the information on it. Have you researched that stone much yourself, other than what was at the booth?
No.
Yeah, so that's something we have to go back and research, because there may be a common name for it, which the common name may be dragon's egg.
I also got this really cool piece of labradorite. Check out the colors on that bad boy.
So as far as the whites are concerned, because there's at least one guy in there that's screaming like crazy, we probably should get there.
Yeah. Okay. So Buttons got ears, so we left on Buttons. So this guy is the next one I acquired. All right. So I told you guys you were gonna know him as soon as you saw him. And yes, I did not take any of the janglies off from PPD. If any of y'all remember them from last weekend, none of the crap came off of them except the sunglasses because I needed those.
Yeah.
This is Spike. Oh my god, he's too big for the camera. So this...
Spike looks like a pirate. Yar, matey. Let's say you use the Jolly Roger. Swing over there, these here lanyards with our cutlasses in our teeth. Cut them the ribbons and hey, hello, ladies. How's it going?
So Spike.
Yep.
So Spike is another stag, and as you can see, he declares to be bedazzled. In fact, we are pretty certain that he died during rutting because he's very much so, hey, what's up? Especially to the ladies. In fact, all of the ladies that visited our booths picked him.
Yep.
They were like, oh, look, he's got horns and bedazzlies. Yeah. No ego or anything. None whatsoever. In fact, he was so egotistical that when he discovered there was another stag that was decked out in galaxy paint and he was no longer head honcho in our row, he was like, what? I need to be painted. But I don't want to be galaxy painted now. I'm like, dude, are you seriously? Can you have a unique idea? Well, I want to glow in the dark. Are we for real right now?
Shiny.
I'm like, okay, fine. I will get you gemstones. So I got him stones. Stones in various forms. Oh, that's shitty plastic. It's this really cool rugulated teardrop smoky quartz. Computer shine bad. To make him super shiny. And then I got different paints, different colored wires, like rose gold and red and black and purple and blue, and different colored chains like purple and black and steel, and different colored clasps and glow in the dark paint and different colored paint. And shut up, I know. He's like, I know. And he's like, can I get glitter? No glitter for him. So this was to appease his want to be bedazzled for the weekend. And then he demanded my sunglasses because he knew I had a second pair with me. But this is Spike. Spike likes espresso. And he likes... And, he also likes... What was it that I really had a craving for?
Beef jerky for a deer?
Yeah, he likes beef jerky. Once they leave the physical plane, they want the weirdest thing. Seraphine likes cookies and cream chocolate cake from Walmart.
That makes sense. Like
Fox and chocolate.
Foxes are... but that's not bad. Well, even my cat ate chocolate one time, and that's like way deadly for a cat, right?
So Spike also likes anything with honey. They all love honey. They all love that, and they all love the Baron of Jaeger.
Yeah.
They all love the Baron of Jaeger.
Yeah.
Though I will say Spike loves a good bourbon.
Bourbon, good. That's bad.
Yes. So this is Spike. He is a ladies' man. He loves the ladies. And get some glow in the dark. Yes, I got him two different colors. I got him a yellow and a white. So when I go to do his galaxy paint, he demanded that I leave his horns white. So I may just take and paint those with the glow in the dark white. I don't know. He hasn't told me what he wants to do with the horns. We'll figure it out. He's being particular right now with that. So that is Spike. Alrighty. I have two more. Okay. So then we have Mighty Mouse's equivalent. So Mighty Mouse is a little guy in a jar. Huh? That's fine.
Okay, just to make you aware.
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. So Mighty Mouse is a guy in a jar, and he is the mightiest of mouses.
Go ahead.
Going to bed.
Linwell says, "Good night. I
Oh.
must rest, for I am going to suffer or
So he's
enjoy
in
the
a-
apocalypse on the
So
boat."
he's in a jar about this big. And mightiest of mouses is the most creative of mices. He is in a blue container. His favorite color is blue. He loves to draw, art, and do anything. He is super hyper, and you must keep him away things all sugar. Sugar, bad thing, sugar. Oh my god. And he has a friend, and it's this guy. And he is a shrew, though I haven't figured out his name yet. But he is just as loud. And apparently, there are only a few people he has not bitten, according to sleuths. And he's this little guy. Look at him. He's so teeny. Look at his little skull, guys.
No, you cannot eat the shrew.
He's just a little guy.
No, you may not eat the shrew.
But his head's in there. A little body. But it's a shrew.
Nope, you may not eat the shrew.
We put them next to each other on the table, and it was like an explosion of voices. It was like, friend! It was loud. Lunacy and myself, we put them down, and it was just like, oh my god, walk away. It was like the mouse and the shoe were just dancing around on the tables. It was just like, shoo, 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 shoo. It was crazy. It was super ridiculous. So they have their friendship back, and they're super excited. And then I acquired this little guy. There we go.
Oh, God.
We should be. There just might be a lag.
Oh.
There we go. All right, so the next guy, and this is my last guy, and LV, I didn't know you got bit by the shrew. That's cray-cray. So this next guy, his name is Rupert. That is what he's decided his name is. I gotta kind of take this off though. Hold on. Because he's upset with this. Let me use my start menu. Cut. There we go. His name is Rupert. He is a minx. And he is a soft little guy. He is super snuggly, super energetic, wants to be a part of everything, wants to check out everything. Very much so intrigued by a lot of what we do. And held both of them, and I had to put them right back down. Yeah, they're a little bit of a handful. But Rupert is super interesting. He's a weasel. And we have a great mediating factor for Spike, because he's okay with everybody else, but he doesn't know how to deal with Bob, which is Linwell's elemental white in the wooden skeletal structure you guys saw in the previous live casts, and he doesn't know how to deal with Rupert. First he said his name was Petey, and then it was Porthos, and then it was something. He was you can ask Hazel. He was throwing names left and right. He just did not know what he wanted his name to be. And then when I was in the panel, I was just like, la la la, my name's Rupert. I'm like, okay, well, think on it, and then you can let me know. So, but he is just a sweetheart. But he has his ears and his whiskers and his nose, and he has all of his little paws, including his toenails, which is really, really rare to have their paws and their toenails attached still when they have the hiding process. I'm gonna make him some little sandbags to put in his up on his head, and then on his hind legs, so that when I have him on my shoulder, he doesn't try to escape like he did several times this week. He wanted to explore. But all in all, he's a pretty cool little dude. Super, 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 just very much so. Reminds me of my ferrets. Shippo. Oh my god. Wily little creatures. But Rupert's a sweet guy. He's very much so. He's just very investigative to see what's going on and loves shiny objects. And then we have Ariel with us tonight, which she's not here in body, but she is here. And she is Rowan's white, and he can give you a little bit of information about her.
Yeah, she tends to be pretty relaxed. She's pretty quiet at the house, all things considered.
There it goes.
There we go. Yeah, she tends to be pretty quiet at the house, all things considered. See, Beth was on the drive up to PPD last weekend. I put her in the car, and you could just see, at least I could just see her body kind of dancing. Like, and one way I can describe it is she would look over me every so often, and she would give a toothy laugh. Very much like Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Like, I know where we're going. I know where we're going.
Yeah, so she and she's a raccoon. At least as far as I can tell, her skull is a raccoon. And even then, the white that's attached to it is definitely a raccoon. So she likes to enjoy things. And she's kind of chillaxing. She very much so. Yang, who's one of the members of our group. She very much so loves Lady Yang. She's like, hey, it's the lady that's in the black cloak. I like her. So she enjoys hanging out with her, particularly on.
Oh, got it.
Particularly on Samhain, she enjoyed hanging out with her. But all things considered, she likes to relax and be like raccoons, tend to expend as little energy as possible to get food.
She loves marshmallows.
Yeah. So.
Anytime we have marshmallows, we had the mark. Just every time I looked over, all you could see was just a raccoon. She was just like,
mine.
Yeah. Anytime we had snacks, so in fact, we were talking about her when we were trying to identify her skull, and I was like, "Yep, definitely a trash panda."
Yeah.
And he's just like, "You called her a trash panda. Don't tell her you said that out loud."
Yeah, it was fun.
She'll get offended.
So she's fun like that. She tends to sit on my bookshelf, where a lot of my various books are, particularly the books of occult nature. So yeah, she's fun to hang out with. Loves LB, loves relaxing. She's just sometimes she's a balancing act in my house, or balancing presence in my house, and sometimes she's really angry like you and just go destroy things, like knock over trash cans and search for food. And there are many times in the middle of the night where I get very, very hungry, and I'm like, God damn it,
Damn trash panda.
She's like, I want cheese toast. I'm like, you only want cheese toast because I like cheese toast, and you know I'll cook it. She's like, yeah, exactly, and I'll eat crumbs. So what the fuck's the problem?
The other thing you'll notice too with whites, you'll get random cravings for the most weirdest things. Like I was talking with Seraphine. Seraphine, when I picked her up, I do not have a sweet tooth. You can ask Rowan, you can ask Lumwell, you can ask anybody in the group. It's very few and far between you will actually catch me with something that is physically sweet. Besides Sour Patch Kids or Lemon Heads. And even then, that's very few and far between. But Seraphine, I was going through a cake once every week and a half, 2 weeks of cookies and cream. Let me tell you what. That kid loves her some cake.
So, to kind of the whites, I mean, we work with the whites. We love the whites. They kind of become a part of our group, if you will. And it's fun to work with them, and it's nice to kind of help them deal with the time that they're still here after their initial passing, if you will. Except for, in the case, I will say a caveat to that would be Bob. Bob has always been here.
Yeah,
Bob's elemental, so he's just a force of nature. It's a vastly different. He never had an animal body to inhabit, so and never was an animal body.
Poor LV, she's gained weight. She was doing a little squealing when she got sprinkled up on. Yes.
Yeah.
You'll notice with whites, there's kind of a flip side. Sometimes when you get a white or you find one, it's a double-edged sword. Either they're there for the long haul, or they're there for a little time and then they're ready to move on. Ultimately, your purpose when working with whites is that you're not there to control them, you're not there to keep them, you're there to help them find what they're meant to do.
Yeah.
So if you're there to help them and they want to hang out with you, cool beans. Awesome. Hang out with them, help them find their way. Just like me with Seraphine. When I found her, I'm like, what do you want to do? Do you want me to bury you? What do you want me to do with you? Let me give you some options. Keep it simple, stupid. Yes or no questions. If you have some form of communication device to use with them. I know Snooze and myself, and I believe Hazel, use pendulums to help use that communication tool with them. Very simple, and it's a very good tool to use, especially when you're trying to communicate with them, because it gives them something to attach to. Shiny. They love shiny. Love shiny. But it gives them yes or no questions that they can help answer. And it gives you something to kind of identify with, because sometimes when you're trying to communicate something that's on an animal level, in most cases, they don't realize that they can communicate on a different level. They're still in that same mindset, and they're like, oh God, human being, what do we do? What do we do? Run, 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 run. So when I picked up Seraphine, it took 3 days for me to finally get her to calm down enough for me to go, what do you want? This is what I can do, and go from there. It took me 3 months for it to be warm enough outside for me to finally process her body. She chilled in my freezer for 3 months. Can you imagine her being attached to her body for 3 months in my freezer?
Yeah.
She'd be nuts, dude. I'm glad. You know, because it's trying to update. But on that note, you know, if she would have said, I'm okay, you found me, you acknowledged my existence,
time to move on.
If you just buried me, I would be perfectly happy, because someone did not care of me and took care of my body. I'm okay with that. I would have been okay with that. I would have found a place to bury her, and I would have buried her. And that's what she would have wanted, and she would have passed on into the rainbow, and she would have been okay. And that's what they wanted, and then that's what you do.
But that's working with whites in general, and then of course a little bit of follow-up for PPD.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's much else this evening. I know we've been here hanging out with you guys for a while now, so
yeah, almost 2 hours between our
technical difficulties. Yeah. So on that note,
you get the chance, we will put up Snooze's blog, as well as we'll link her portable awareness page, so that you guys can check out her wares. And then I think that's the only 2 things we needed to post up there, right?
portable blog nest wares, and then also the house coordinates.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Well, guys, keep an eye out. We also just recently got the go-ahead to initiate the process for a local PPD in the southeastern NC area. We still got a few more hurdles to go through, but we've got enough to at least initiate a couple of things. So we've got the pages started. So if you're a local vendor or business and you're checking this out, I encourage you to please check out the Southeastern NC Pagan Pride event, and then click under the groups tab on there, and go in there if you're interested in being a vendor or having an information booth and answering those questions, so that I can compile it all and create a vendor tab section, so that I have all your information, so that way when I get a location and date sit down, which I'm hoping to do here in the next 2 weeks, I can start sending out packets and getting your guys' feedbacks.
Yep.
All right, so without further ado,
Au revoir.
night, guys.
Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss. Ciao. Zaijian.